Okay, let's start this. Come on.
Welcome to Docs with Fat Cat. And you're probably looking like, oh no, Pastry, there's 4 squares this week. What's going on? Welcome, the great presentation of the one and only, my kinfolk, my mama, Reverend Elaine Banores, because she has been deemed a Reverend. She is now a Reverend. So congratulations for that newly.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, and I'm gonna let her explain all that, what she's a Reverend in, and she'll get into all that. But that's my mother, and she's been invited this week to this documentary we did because it's kind of up her alley and what she's into and what she can put some enlightenment and some experiences and situations out there for you guys to sink into. So LOX, it's like the locks living off of the experience. You know, that's what that means. Oh, so first of all, thank you, Mother, for showing up on the show.
Oh, I'm glad to be here for this one. I'm very excited. Yes.
This week it was on me. And this week I picked one called Ouija, Yes, No, Maybe.
Yes, no, goodbye.
Yes,
goodbye.
Yes, no, goodbye.
Yes, no, goodbye.
You know the funniest thing too, though. If anyone has watched these shows,
no, goodbye.
Yes, if anyone has watched all of our shows, I literally don't think you've ever gotten one right. Like as soon as you come to it, you're just like,
detour left.
And I could have just watched it. I could have just watched it an hour ago. Still nothing. I don't.
Yeah.
I always get you know what it is? I get the name of it, and then when it's got the fucking semicolon and the rest of it comes, that's all a blur.
That apple didn't fall far from this tree. I'll tell you that.
So I'm just like, oh, there it is, and then yep, truth, yes, no, and maybe, because maybe made sense in my head, and it's definitely not maybe. Yes, no, and
goodbye.
Goodbye. So it was about
the commands on the Ouija board.
On the Ouija board. Now the Ouija board spelled Ouija, so it's like French, the we. It came out as a board game in the 60s.
1800s. It's been around since. Just FYI.
Right. Well, the whole that, but I'm talking about what they were talking about in the document. Right. What they were saying in the document.
People have been doing this so you could write it on a piece of paper and do this. The board game itself came out in the 70s. Board game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And what they were using in this documentary, that board game itself came out in the 60s, they said. Right. To say the doc, but
that
now we have more information.
Is that the Hasbro brand?
Hasbro or Milton Bradley? One of those guys.
You could have got it in Toys R Us. Any toy store they sell it in any where they sold toys.
I feel like they still sell them in Walmart and shit like that. I don't ever remember. I don't ever remember not seeing them. You
can get one on Amazon right now too.
Right.
But the thing with me, I probably wouldn't recognize it because I thought it was always spelt with a W.
Hey, you guys want to play Ouija? The Ouija. So that was a documentary we picked this week, and the lady's name, Summer. I got that right. Don't ask me the last name.
Yeah,
her name was Summer. Summer with an O. Okay. Yeah. I want to know. Put out this documentary of just basically trying to see in her if she sees it as being a real thing or not. If it's what the whole background behind the Ouija board is supposed to channel the spirit world and
the other side.
Open up the other side of the spirit world and open up the door for them to be invited in, and you can speak to loved ones. That is what. We're going to dive into it, but that's just the basic line of it, of what the doc was about.
Dare I say, that's the hopeful. You know what I mean? They hope to talk to the family.
Right. So that's what the whole doc was, and she went through this experimental phase of doing research, what she was calling it, and I think she said over 1,000 or something like that. It said in the doc. Hours, over 1,000 hours of research.
1,300 hours.
1,300 hours of research in multiple cities. That was her thing, and she went in and she looked into it. So that's where we're at with it, and we're here and we all watched it. Everybody's got a nice input. So
hey, real quick, let me show you here. I'm gonna share the screen, and so Walmart's got it for $20 if you want it. They got a $19.99. They got different ones too. They got Stranger Things Ouija boards.
Yeah, they have all different kinds.
Oh, they're doing do brands.
Yeah, branded stuff and different price points on them. And then what's interesting, Target did it switch over to Target, or do I have to share it again?
No, you probably got it. I'm still looking at. I'm looking at clothes now.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now Walmart, they're selling Ouija clothing, graphic sweatshirts and sweatpants, and
it is very popular. Even when you go up to Salem, you see a lot of it.
Right.
Wow.
You get it's a cult following behind it, just the board itself. There's like a following with just some people just behind the board, and
now my thing is this. Well, to the viewers out there, the Reverend, since we know her, we call her Nanas. So forgive me, y'all, because I'm going to be calling her Nana just off of consistent respect and consistency of that's what I call her. But anyway, yeah, Nanas. But if I'm, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is a personal thing. Like for these things to work, and I don't know if it's true or not, but for these things to actually work, don't you got to at least have some type of like belief into these things?
Absolutely. You have to have some belief, and it's your vibration of your body. Our bodies are energy. So it's your energy that is going to make this move. And I personally thought this girl was very negative. So hence why she wasn't getting any movement, because it's almost like if you're going in there thinking, oh, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is a bunch of bull. This is a bunch of bull.
You got to go on with a blank slate almost.
Your energy isn't producing that. So you're not going to get any responses.
Right. So you got to do like don't hope for it, but just let it be natural. Be open-minded to it.
Right. Open-minded.
Be open-minded and let yourself kind of be and then see if you can connect with it.
I thought she was too hell-bent on proving it to be not truthful. Do you know that's what I felt. That was my personal.
She wasn't up. She didn't seem as open about it. She wanted to.
And she wanted to prove it like, and what I was getting from that too is like, you know what I mean? Like instead of it being receptive to like any type of like extraterrestrial activity or any type of spiritual whatever to have, like my thing was, she always thought it should have been like almost evil in a sense. Like all she expected it was bad.
Yeah.
No, that whole when she was trying to summon a demon. I'm like, I don't even know, like to even if you don't even understand it, that's like something stupid to do. I don't, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Very stupid to do when you have not a clue of knowing what you're doing.
But in a fair sense, she doesn't really believe it, so she's really trying to push the envelope. Like. She's calling it out. You know what I mean? So
I think those are the bad situations, man. That's a bad situation to do that.
But when you're doing research like that and people want to really prove it wrong, because there's atheists and people that don't believe in that stuff. So they're like, hey, I don't believe in it, so I'm just gonna say whatever. And you know what I mean?
Even when it did work, remember, like when it hooked up with the cameras on the eyes and shit. When it did work, she was there's some other shit going on. Remember, she was like, "Is there a magnet under the table? Is there something else happening?"
The one thing I want to zoom in and focus on is like, why does she not rehatch the video that came from her documentary about the guy hearing hello?
That's what I said. I said
the whispering, all that. Why does she talk about that at all?
With the witches?
Problem, even with the young Spanish kid. Why did they not show that board move? They had all the cameras around them.
Yes,
but
didn't show his hands.
Supposedly he would the board was answering,
but you didn't. It was and nobody
nothing moved. Right.
Yeah, I think
all the other times they were focused on the hand.
And they would show it.
Yeah.
And they would show it.
If you notice too how slow it was moving, we'll get into that a reason why later, but that happens for a reason. I've done it, nothing slow. The thing spun all around the place. So that slow had a lot to do with her and her negative energy.
Yeah, I think this documentary could have really benefited from a fucking tripod with a camera. Like, just put the camera on the tripod and point it at the board. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of, you don't need homie holding the thing and then getting weird on you. Like,
it's almost like,
the one time they have proof of something, supposedly, and then they're not letting the camera watch you.
Right.
It's being spelt out.
Yep.
You know what's crazy now? You guys are saying that, now I have a whole different thought of it now. Now that you are saying that, I'm like, did she like want to really see this as being wrong, but to make the documentary good, she fakes some other shit to meet possibilities. So it makes it look like she's doing raw research. You know, like I'm really doing research. See, there's things that were strange that happened, but nothing really. You know, she tried to make it look for her documentary.
Research. I really don't. I don't.
Okay.
Because you don't have to go to a haunted place or haunted anywhere to do that.
That was my question. That was my next question.
Okay.
That was my next question.
You don't. You could do it anywhere. You don't have to be at a certain end of the forest, in the middle of the forest, and
this place is very haunted. I know that. I felt that was a stretch too. Like you have to go to a haunted place to use it. Like
you don't.
Right, or a cemetery, or get.
But I guess
get devil worshippers or something.
But the,
you know what I'm saying?
But the concept of it is like she's like, well, if there's so much activity here, this board should be more than welcome to open it. You know what I mean? That's probably how her mindset of arrogance is going into it.
I feel like she didn't want a normal experience. She wanted some Ghostbuster shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's why she was like, I'm gonna go in the middle of a swamp. I'm gonna go in the haunted, Civil War shit, because she didn't want just like, oh, we have something little happening. She wanted
smoke and mirrors a lot of times. I call that when people like do these kind of things for the effects of that. That's all smoke and mirrors. To be truth, she could have done it in their own home. Didn't have to be a seance. Didn't have to be all this other stuff. It could work anywhere. Didn't have to be. And
through your opinion, through your experience, Nana's that lady, Bloody Mary. You think she was official?
I think she's legit. I really liked Bloody Mary. I did. Christian Day. I have met him personally. He used to be in Salem, and I didn't even know he moved to New Orleans. I contacted my girl up in Salem. I said, when did he move? She said, about 2018, but his store is still open in Salem, but he was. Now, when I met him, now he had all the makeup on. Again, that's for the show, for the doc. People in Salem, even they dress the whole
they dress the part. Yeah.
Yep.
But when I met him, he had t-shirt and jeans on, just like a regular guy. Yeah. So they do this for, it is their shtick.
And just for a little context, if you could just like give the viewers a little your background of what you do and what you're into to kind of give you, line you up to what we're watching.
I'm known for, I am a spiritual healer. And what that is I do my works through tarot cards. And that's what I do for my business. But my studies for my reverendship, as I have studied under Lori Bruno in Salem, Massachusetts. And I had to learn, traditions of where magic came from. And the particular magic she does is she's an Italian witch, was a strega. And
so that's what people you identify as a witch. Is that's why I'm
right. I'm a witch. Right. I'm not a pagan. I'm not Wiccan. I'm a witch. I'm a strega witch. And that is the Italian witchcraft. There's all kinds of, like any religion, different dominations of witches. You have your sea witch, you have a gray witch, you have your forest witch, it's all in what one's connection is to. And my connection was just drawn to Lori. So I studied under her, and during my studies, I was given a certificate that I am given a reverendship, which I can actually perform ceremonies for wedding ceremonies, but I can teach in the works of light, in the name of good. We do only in the name
of good vibes.
Good stuff. Nice.
Always good. But there's a balance. There's yin and yang in life. There's good and evil. And sometimes you have to do there's fresh little witches sometimes. Sometimes I got to call upon that little freshness to balance things out. Do you know?
I was just going to ask that. I was just going to, like you yourself have to like go to the other side sometimes.
Right, sometimes, but I don't call upon things I don't want, the dark. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But there are people that do work strictly in dark, and that's everybody's preference. Everybody has the right to their own religion, their own beliefs, respect all. That's how I personally feel. I respect everybody's opinion on religion and open to learning all the time. Knowledge is a key.
Right.
Like I learned something from this documentary. I learned because living as a young adult, can I get into that part of my experience?
Yeah, of course. It's related to the Ouija board, so
we were teenagers. We as teenagers got a Ouija board from the regular store, and not knowing what we were doing, as most people do when they pick up the Ouija board, asked all the simple questions, am I going to get married? How many children? All this stuff. And then all of a sudden it spelled out my mother's name. Now my mother has passed. So we thought, oh my God, we're talking to my mother. So then we started asking all these questions. My niece and I were doing it together. And as we always did, we always, both being Capricorns, we bumped heads all the time. So she's telling me, you're pushing it. I'm saying, no, I'm pushing it. Go back, you're pushing it. Well, I had the box. We had the box that was leaning against the wall that the game came in. All of a sudden, in mid-ear, that box flipped over, and I had a witness to this, and landed back in its place the way it originally was. We immediately stopped and put the Ouija board away. Ever since
goodbye.
then, like we opened
the goodbye
up,
part.
Yeah.
We opened up a porthole in that house without realizing what we were doing. Now, since watching this documentary, and as my children were young, oh, brother, you bring that shit in this house, I stood firm to that. But after watching this documentary and me being at a different level where I am in life, yes, blessings first. If like Bloody Mary, she blessed the board. That makes sense. So I no longer, the old woman I am, learned view it as evil. Do you know what I mean? It's on using it. It's on the intent. I have a board that I use, and this is called a psychic circle.
Which I have used before. I've actually used that myself before.
Right, so and this is what
he's had that
the
for
other
a while.
one is an eye. This is the indicator for this one. Now with this, you say a prayer before you start it, and that's how I always did this. But I always looked at that as like entertainment to me. I didn't hold everything it said like to word. Do you know what I mean? It has all the questions, and I have done that myself. So you can do it yourself. Again, it's your energy. So if somebody has negative energy, that needle ain't moving. It's not going to move at all. When we have done it, every time I did it, that thing flies. Like I don't even, and with my hands barely, lightly touching. Right. So it's your energy from your fingers that's going on to that needle.
That's what when I was watching the documentary, that's when I texted you, Pastry, when I was at the Bloody Mary part and she's spitting the alcohol on it and only the left hand and blessing. That's what I was like, man, please hit up your mom and be like, because that's what I wanted to know. Because like I said earlier in it, to me, Alejandro was some bullshit. So, but when they got to Bloody Mary, that was the part where I felt was the most genuine. Where I was like, hey, this lady seems.
I felt her genuine. I felt her being genuine.
I felt she was authentic. She kind of like just how she's talking, because you could tell she was a real person there too. You know what I'm saying? Like she'd be like, hey, look, cut the bullshit. Like,
as long as you're blessing it. And we never said goodbye when we played that game. We never said goodbye either. And you have to end it with goodbye. And in this board, you end it with amen. Like you're closing your circle. So the ritual we would use, it's called the ritual of God and goddesses. So it's for, any religion, and it would be a little protection of light, protect us, let only the good come in, which makes sense because you could let anything in, hence the movie The Exorcist, Captain Howdy. Now that was something evil coming into her, like to get into the house. We didn't have such extreme, but we did have a lot of things happening in our home after that Ouija board. Like we did have, nobody would go in the basement. We always feared the basement after that. We used to hear things, knocks on the wall, scratching on the wall.
When you were when that board, how old do you remember? How old you were when that board did that flip?
Teenagers,
like young teens, like
14, 15, like that. Yeah.
So this is not like an 8-9-year-old memory.
No.
So a lot of it is positive affirmation type stuff where you go in there with well, even kind of like they say, don't take ecstasy if you're in a bad mood. It's kind of like if you're gonna take certain drugs, like don't do acid if you're in a bad mood. Like you kind of
if you're depressed, you're depressed drinking, you know where you're going. You know what I mean? You're gonna be a miserable drunk.
Exactly.
Our body is made of energy. We consume. It's all about the energy of self. It truly is. even with my works, it's my energy that's put into what I do. The cards have a meaning, but it's my energy that adds to that. Do you know, Elaine?
Yep.
That's scientific.
It's addition to it. Yeah, it's like you got to add stuff onto it to make it work. It's cooking.
Right.
You got to add some ingredients to it.
Right. Well, you have to. It's your vision that comes out through the cards, and when you're channeling, right, and you're telling people.
I'll tell you a little fun fact, because if I'm binge watching like something, like when I was binge watching Shameless, like if when I'm doing somebody's cards, say somebody's personality fit like somebody in my show. Yep. Like I'll describe that person's personality and it fits the person I'm doing cards, because I'll binge The Walking Dead. It was somebody that like say fit Rick Grimes' character, and I describe this person. Oh, this person's like this, and they're like yeah. But I'm really in my mind thinking of Rick Grimes, but that's how it comes.
But that's how the vision comes of that person's image of their energy is coming as like the image of like characters
of Rick Grimes.
Rick Grimes. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm seeing like a Rick Grimes kind of character in your husband. Is that...
I don't say that to people. I don't say that to people, but that's
what
that's how it comes to me.
How you're registering. Yeah, no, because I mean, she's, I've heard her tell me a lot of stuff, and there's people, she gets a lot of people that are atheists even, and then she's telling them things they're like they can't explain, they don't believe in it, and they're coming to it because they want to see, and she's telling them things that she shouldn't even know that's coming out through the cards. And these people that don't believe.
What I like to, before I do anybody, I don't want to know anything about them, even the people that they refer to me, first name only. I don't want anybody to, I don't want to know anything about them, because then they could say, oh, you Googled me. Right. No, I want it to be authentic.
Now, how do you feel about, say, the people that have gotten famous, like say whatever her name was, she was big for a while, Long Island Medium, people like that. What do you think about them? Do you think they're doing anything, or do you think it's a lot of?
No, she's absolutely the real deal. I went to one of her shows. I wish I had a quarter of her talent. Who I study under, Lori Bruto, she's a medium. And I was at class one time, true story, and my nephew by last name only had just passed away a week before I went to one of the classes. Now we're in class, and she's saying things, and I'm writing down notes, and my girlfriend next to me is kicking me. She's saying she's talking to you. And I'm like, she said, do you know a Bill? That was his name. And she said, he wants you to forgive him. There are a lot of drugs and stolen jewelry, KKK, everything true. Check. So she couldn't help but to turn that off, because he was coming on so strong for me to get that message. And it had only been a week since.
She would never know. She would never know nothing about that.
She would never have known. Even on the way home, like she wanted me very badly to forgive him when I was so angry with personal things what he had done to my brother. But she kept on me to let it go for myself, let it go. He can't cross until you let it go. And I'm thinking in my head, let that motherfucker stay here a little while. Let him not cross a little bit. Let me keep it. But even on the way home, she called me and said, Elaine, I mean it. And so she was very adamant to me. And then she said, who's Helen? My mother's name. Now where's she pulling that from? My mother, to me, was saying, let it go. So I did sense let it go. Michael, you could even vouch for that I don't hold that anger that I did at that time. Right. So that was more for me that I did that than his sorry ass. But for me, I let that go for me. But
that's interesting.
But what about this when you went to see Long Island Medium? How was that experience?
Well, because it was at the Mohegan, and she picked up on that was right after, what was it? I think not 9. Was it 9? No, Sandy Hook. It was right after Sandy Hook. What she did was, I could even get chills about it now, is she pulled one responder from way up in the audience that was a first responder for that, and somebody that wanted, I get very, if you could see, I got chills all over me, and somebody on the floor that always wanted to thank the first responders for being there, that he lost a child and that, and she connected those two during that reading. And your brother was there also with me. We went to that together. We didn't get, the reason why I feel like, and I've gone to other mediums, I feel like I never get picked up because I've dealt with grief. And I believe people who have a hard time really dealing with, especially a loss of a child or a loss that they can't get past, those are the ones that get zoomed in on that really, really need that healing. So that's what I get. That's my personal feeling for that.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I know like Teresa, it was like, you know, little sissy Reese.
Yeah, she had one that I went to, was a smaller group.
Right.
And this woman, and I've had a lot, out of 6 siblings, I'm the only one here. So there's a lot that have passed.
Right.
So it was a group of 10, and she kept coming up to me, and she was on the money with every single one. She was on the money with every single one, and I kept saying to everybody, I'm sorry, because there's a lot of them up there. So because she kept coming up to me, you know, like taking up all the time. But
and so like it wasn't general. It wasn't like general type of stuff. She was really giving you specifics of
legit.
Wow, nice.
Even Michael, you know, Uncle Johnny, how she described him was like Danny DeVito. He was short and he was chubby.
Buddy, right.
And that was my brother. He was short and chubby. She said Danny DeVito looked like Danny DeVito.
Right. His personality is very, you know, he's Mr. Party, you know, he's Mr. You know, host.
My sister, as he goes, she goes, oh, Aunt Jenny, he says, she goes, oh, the bejeweled. She had a bejeweled gun. My sister always wore that.
She fucking gemmed up every time.
Wow. Yeah, and that's not something that you would just guess. You know what I mean? That's a tough guess.
Like, bejewels, like, how do you know she bejeweled?
She also said to me that she was talking about a pocketbook that I have that has bejewels on it, and I sure am not a bejeweled kind of person. And I'm thinking, no, I don't have that pocketbook, and I don't know what she's talking about. She goes, well, she was there with you when you bought that pocketbook. So I kind of forgot about it. Years later, now his father had passed during this time, and his brother had a very hard time dealing with the death of his father. And his father wrote him a letter at one time, and he didn't want it. I said, I got a letter. This is when he was alive, and my son didn't want it. So I said, okay. So I'm going with that, put that on a postie, put that for a minute. Then I'm going through my closet one time, and I see a pocketbook, and the handle had like studs on it. And I'm like, bejeweled freaking pocketbook, right? So I started laughing at myself, thinking I did have a pocketbook. I opened up that pocketbook, and there was that letter. Whoa. She led me to that pocketbook for that letter to give to my son. And I did. And he needed it at the time.
Yeah, he did.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, like I said, that's super specific. That's not, you know, did you know someone with brown hair? That's like laser.
Were they tall? I'm looking at a tall person. Yes, my dad was tall, you know.
Get it at the time, even it wasn't until I guess you or your brother said to me when my husband came through, and he said, I finally have my own boat. And I'm like, okay, you know, and then, you know, I didn't quit.
We had to bring it to you.
Yeah. He used to collect the ships.
Oh, he was about sailboats. That was a dream. It was a dream of his. He had models. He had little sailboat models. He used to keep on the fucking top of the dresser on the entertainment center in the living room.
Yeah, those were all his ships.
Yeah, a lot of that was more on
Pop.
Yeah, Pop. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
You know, he was all about sales. That was his dream.
My question, Nana, is like, because I sometimes, because me personally, like, when you say for them to pass, like, what does that consist of? Like where do spirits are, and then like what is their journey?
We're energy.
You know what I mean?
We're energy. So where does that energy go? That energy disperses into the universe. We're there. When that's how somebody who's passed, like your father, could be around you, could be around your mother. It could be around you like all the time. They're around us constantly, even though you don't feel them or see them. Because I'm sensitive, as they call. I've been my whole life. I've seen spirits my whole life, and I could pick up on them being around. Or even you, if you get a certain scent or a smell or even like your father
They say
who's making you
sometimes
wear a certain cologne,
right.
and you get that, all of a sudden you smell that, or a song that reminds you of them. That is them at that time reaching out to you. I'm here. I'm here. Those aren't just subtle little hints or you thinking of him in a particular time, and it's him. It's him with you. Like their energy is always there. We're energy. Our energy stays. Do you know it stays here?
Right.
Huh.
That's it.
Because I remember in the last documentary that we watched, Reps, the one that you had about the Halloween, they were talking about people being trapped in between layers and in between levels.
Right, and that's where this Billy was.
Like a
And
purgatory.
it's up to me to set him free.
Ah.
Needing
But that's
forgiveness
what I mean.
for those forgiveness for those that they've done wrong, probably, you know.
Right.
So basically, like that's what I mean. So like when they're like stagnant, I guess.
Right.
I guess is the what like, I don't know if maybe I'm not explaining it myself or asking it correctly, but like
where'd you have to free him from? You know what I'm saying?
Right, basically, like, yes.
Where was he stuck that you had to forgive him to free him from?
Between sometimes the spirit doesn't know they're dead.
Oh,
sometimes they think they're still here instead of passing over and going to the other side. That's why they call this time of year is when we believe the veil is thin. That's when it's easy for Halloween for us to cross over, and it's about honoring our ancestors. True, that's what my belief is. Like even on Halloween night, I will have my altar all set up with my siblings, everybody I love, and honoring everybody's passing. That's when they call the thinning of the veil. That's when it's easier for us to communicate for each other.
And if you look at it, many other cultures, they have very similar, like, you know, like more Mexican with the Day of the Dead, right?
Day of the Dead.
You know what I'm saying? It's your homage to the dead, and that's what.
Spiritual. You go to a Catholic church, you light incense, you sing hymns. You know, you go. My religion, we light candles, we chant. I mean, it's basic, is all the same. Spirituality is spirituality, with just different forms.
Yeah, just different flavors. It's all ice cream. It's just a different flavor. Yeah.
Right.
Is this true? Because this is what I've heard. You know what I mean? Like if a person dies like violently or basically like takes their own life and things like that, would that cause them to like stay around?
No. Because when a person leaves this earth, somebody could have been a mean person. They change. They kind of feel like the era of their bad ways. Like, for instance, my biological father was not a very nice man. I don't have to get into detail, but even before I went to this medium, the small reading that I did, I used to work at a hospital. And I'm sitting there to myself, and I used to work with medical charts, and his name was George. And I'm saying to myself, I'm going tonight. Who's the first person that's going to come through? 3 charts in a row with the first name George, right? So I come as soon as we get there. She comes right up to me. I have a father figure. His name is George. They look for that forgiveness. But I was still angry that I didn't want to hear anything he had to say. And I still feel that way. Like I told her, keep it moving. Like I'm not interested in his story, not interested in nothing. Keep it moving, keep it moving. But that was my sign right there. I knew he was going to come through. And I told Teresa, which one day you guys will meet her, my little sweetie, that she, I told her, I said, they said George. And then when she ever said George, Teresa looked right at me like, oh my God.
Right.
Yep.
No, it's him. It's him.
Yeah.
He came through.
So it's that. So they still look for that forgiveness. You know, they want that forgiveness. I don't feel like they go, I don't believe in purgatory or, you know, like, or heaven and hell. I don't know.
It's a personal perception, I guess.
Pardon me?
It's a personal perception.
Like
heaven and hell.
In your belief, right?
I feel like this is hell. what we're living in hell. I feel here on earth is hell.
Well, that's for me, heaven and hell has always been weird because to me, heaven's not going to be the same for everybody. Like, what if you're a heroin addict, heaven to you would be literally probably laying around doing heroin all day. To me, that's not going to be heaven for me. You know what I mean? So,
or to me, I look at it as they're finally at peace within themselves. I look at it as a place of peace. You no longer have that addiction. You no longer have that. You could be that person. Like sometimes people will come across to a medium when they were healthy. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're sorry.
You're not gonna they're not gonna come across as the asshole you might have like. He was an asshole drunk. He's not gonna come across staggering like, yo, this guy, I can't understand what he's saying. He's not making words clear because he's drunk. You're gonna get the brighter side that you remember out of that person.
Kind of like the best of you. You go back to like your best self.
What if your first encounter with him, he was always a drunk, but you really liked him? Would he still come across as that drunk? Would he come across as somebody that you never knew?
That's why, because even
their personalities, they do come out as their personalities were in life. Like they'll crack jokes or say things that it's true, it's them. There's good and bad in everything. Even what I do, like I always tell my clients too, well, there are people that I call what we call gypsies. And there are people that take advantage of people, especially that are broken and are looking for heal. Like there's most of those storefront places, psychic
readings.
Do not go into them. Do not. Most of them are gypsies. We have one right down the street on Campbell Avenue. I've had clients that went into her and said to her, she gets you in there, $20 for a half hour, get you in there. But when you're in there, she says, oh, I see a dark cloud around you. I feel you're cursed. For $1,400, I could take that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
she
not
pitched
cool.
That right there. Yes, she pitched that at that spot.
Story. She did pitch
that.
She's a client of mine. She told her she had dark energy around her, and I've done her many times. She does not have any dark energy around her. And she said for $1,400, because she knows me and come to me so long, she said, "Yeah, I'm good on that. I don't need that."
With those type of people, Nana, do you think like they're gonna be held responsible for what they're doing? You think?
I want to sometimes call them up and cuss them out and say, "You give people like us a bad name."
No. But he's talking about like
I get very angry with that.
He's talking about like in passing on, like if they're doing bad things like that all the time. Are there like karma, like right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, they definitely get it back. They are gypsies, and they're not. It's not good. It's not good. What I do as a healer, I'm to help people, not take advantage from people. Before COVID, when I used to have people in my home and they're going through hard times, I'm giving them crystals for this. I'm giving them of things. I've never, here's a rose quartz for you. Give me another $20. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the truth, is when you're genuine and you're here to help somebody, then it's from you're being genuine.
Right, but you still, your time is money, so you get a nice rate. There's going to be a rate there. Time is money. I can't just sit around healing everybody all day. I got shit to do.
No, but I make
clear
to people because in the beginning of my journey, when I bought a deck of cards by accident, I didn't know what they were, and I pulled up one card, and it said, the meaning of it said, "You have a gift, do not abuse it." And I hold that to truth today, that I never abuse my gift. Nor do I charge tons of money, because I want people to be able to afford to come to me. That my thing is to help. My thing is to help.
Like you always taught me, mommy, always in need, never in greed, right?
Always. Never in greed, never to be greedy. Only when you need. True. And there could be times where I could be, oh my goddess, I don't have a dime to my name, and I'll get a call. Can I book an appointment? All the time.
Nice. See, that's the thing, because a lot of these things, I feel like my personal objective to this is it's always in a negative light, you know what I mean? And I always kind of was staring to that, because in my family, you know what I mean, they're religious and things like that, and it's like, oh well, if it's not nothing to do with the religion or the faith, well then that's bad, right? You know what I mean? So when Raps was like, yo, we doing a Ouija board, he kind of, was kind of jokingly, because he knew, my side, you know what I mean, and how it is, because I'm a firm believer in that, man. I'm a firm believer where
let me say this to you though. Okay, as being a faithful person and a believer of God, when a priest is up there and giving a sermon and he's speaking through God is that's spiritual. Do you know? It works the same for me, but on a different level. Do you know what I mean?
Right. That's right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, and I'm just more of the believer, in things like that. I don't really go to church or put myself in a sect of a religion type or whatever. But my thing is like, if you set yourself up to enter, like to let these bad things or recept these bad things, it's gonna happen. That's just my belief. You know what I mean? Like, and if you just don't cater or stay away from that, then it's not gonna affect you. It's, you know what I mean? That's why I like, it's a thing, like I kind of tread lightly when it comes to these type of topics.
Open-minded also, Phat. Otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation. You're open-minded too. Do you know what I mean? You're not so narrow-minded. You're strong in your faith, which I respect. Do you know what I mean? But you're open-minded also. And that's all you need, is to look at somebody else's perspective of something. And that's how we learn. I mean, I love all kinds. My last working day job I had, I was the token white girl there. Everybody was from an all different culture. And after we got comfortable with each other, I love picking up brains with what this culture is like, from India and Japan and Korea and their spiritual paths and everything.
Because they got their own things too. Yeah.
Right. Every culture's got their own thing, right?
We're all the same. It all falls under the same. It's just what your belief is. That's all. But it's all a spiritual
positive energy going into whatever. But I always believe in that too. Is like whatever grabs you, and it's a positive light. That was meant for you. So if you become a Muslim one day, that's what spoke to you. You know what I mean? I like I said, I talk about my man John, who was like an Italian guy from New Haven, who was getting fucked up in the streets and getting high and stuff, and now he has like a Muslim wife, and he's Muslim. And it's like, but he's still a New Haven dude. But that is what his path was. He's like, Mikey, and he said, I wouldn't have none of that shit. Man, he said, I was, guy tried to pull me in. He's like, I'll show up one day. He did the whole kind of like, if you remember how Malcolm X was in that movie where, when they depicted his life. He was just showing up like, all right, man, what you want,
For me, I was raised Greek Orthodox, had to go to church every Sunday, had to go even till I was freaking in high school, God forsake, going to church. I would walk into church. I felt spiritual always. I always felt the connection, but I did not like the concept of the church. I did not like, to me, the basket going around and who's talking about who and this. I didn't like the whole clickiness. I've never been a clicky kind of person. So that always so therefore I never raised my children, my boys, with religion, because I always wanted them to choose their own path. But then one day, I'll tell this funny story.
Here we go.
Michael, his first job, he goes and he buys his medallion, right? And it has the Virgin Mary on it. And somebody asked him, who is that? And he goes, the mother. And then I said I had to
it was the mother. I wasn't off. They call her the mother. The mother is the mother. You know what I'm saying? She was the mother of Jesus, wasn't she?
Yeah. So you just said the mother.
My children any base. I didn't give them any base. What did I do? But then I remember hearing him talking to somebody on the phone one time, and he was talking about how proud he was of how I raised them. And then I said, oh, I did do a good job, like to let them find their own way. They were never baptized. I wanted them to I didn't want them restricted to one thing. Even back then, before I was aware of my true self, I always felt different.
And even for a lot of those things, like people being baptized, I don't even necessarily think that many people do it because they actually believe in it. To me, it's a lot of passed down from family to family. Like,
Right,
I don't think my
right.
parents baptized me because they believed in it. It was, well,
Right.
this is what our family does. You know what I mean? And it goes down the line, and it's not necessarily a belief. It's kind of more tradition at one point.
Tradition,
I never
right?
took them to church. We never went to a church service.
Yeah, we went to a couple. I remember. I've been to a Greek Orthodox one. When we started getting introduced to that side. Well, I mean, it was Greek Easter. So
yeah, I was gonna say sometimes the big ones, Easter and midnight mass, stuff like that.
His uncle used to beg me.
Somebody brought me.
My brother begged.
You might not have been there, but I remember as a kid going to a couple.
That's because my brother begged me. My brother begged me. Please, it was very important to him. He was strong in his faith, so I went for him. Yeah.
Now, in the Spanish culture, nanas, right? This what we call brujeria. You know what I'm saying? Which is magic. You know what I mean?
Right,
and it's believed that in this brujeria, you know what I mean? You know, you have your beads. You know what I mean?
Right.
And their color, I guess their color design, and those colors, I guess, mean certain things. Now, those beads now, can there be are there any type of other symbols in other different, I guess, cultures? Not necessarily like
in the Greeks, we have the evil eye. We have the evil eye, and if you wear the evil eye, it's to ward off evil spirits. The Italians have the horn, the Italian horn.
Oh yeah,
you know, that's to wear off evil spirits. Everybody has different things to mean something, but I bet you those colors, well, the beads all represent the same as they do for when I light my candles, depending on what ritual I'm doing. If I'm doing something for love, I'm going to use a red candle.
Right,
because candle could also be used for fire too.
Because I was meaning to ask you, like when I was watching in the documentary, just to tap in that real quick, the lady Bloody Mary. Like, is that more like a Louisiana thing when she's doing it with the rattles like that?
Oh, absolutely.
And the spit in the 151, that's not every kind of which culture.
No, but that's her thing, but the same concept. Do you know what I mean? Just her way of doing it. Exactly. That's her New Orleans thing. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because they have a different way. Yeah, New Orleans is like they're deep rooted down there in you know, a lot of French Creole stuff went on down there.
I like how
that would be on my bucket list to go visit.
Well, Haitian. Well, that's what it was. A lot of Haitian.
And voodoo. A lot of voodoo shit too.
Haitian voodoo kind of influenced New Orleans.
I actually do have a voodoo deck that somebody brought me back from New Orleans.
Nice.
Tarot cards. Yes, I do.
The voodoo
They're a little dark for me.
And my thing is that it's not always evil though. It's not necessarily all of it is evil. You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I mean? That's the hint, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I get a lot. Like the way they bring it out, you know?
It's the intent of the person. If somebody's like that, yes, it's evil. If somebody's pure in their heart, it's not. I'm a worker of light. I do things positive. I'm not in the dark. But there are people that are in the dark, and that's their works of the dark. They call upon their demons to help them. I call in goddesses. And
we've said it before. Bad people exist. Like, people forget that. They're like, yo, life is not a movie, but yo, just like movies, bad people still exist. Like, there's still people that want to take over the world. There's still people that like you were saying.
It's a balance.
So if they catch on to some sort of something that they can utilize in a power for negative, and
just
negative, it's great for them.
I had a client that had a very negative energy in her home. And what had happened, Michael, you remember this, you kept making sure it was me. He was cracking jokes with me. But what made it different is the entity was actually physically touching her. Now,
holy shit.
To do things like that, but touching her in an inappropriate way, very inappropriate. Her mother works in the dark. Okay, her mother calls upon demons. So her and I got together as the balance of light and dark, and brought that together for the both of us. Do you know, like we were up there for a good hour and a half working to bring light to get rid of her.
So it can extend. So it can extend.
Outside. All right. Not like neighbors. That's what
Okay.
happens.
So now it can extend. So basically somebody could be in the dark magic, and that can extend to their like siblings
Right.
and
She
family and
called
relatives.
upon who she called upon, and I worked my way. Do you understand?
No, he
I
was
called
asking. He
upon
was
the
asking
light.
if he was asking if her mother dabbling in the dark is what brought that into her house
No,
to
no,
bother
no,
her.
Right.
no.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because it's her
Okay.
daughter. She's
Okay.
always going to protect her daughter. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. So
Okay.
you don't think of her doing, well, she does protection
No,
in her dark, but it's still
no,
dark though. So even
no.
when they play around in the dark, they have to do protection shit in
Right.
order to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If
Yeah.
anything, she wanted to bring him home. Come home with me. You know, like that kind of thing, because he was dark. Do you know? But now, like, that's what she's used to. She never picked up on him because she's dark. I picked up on him so strong that I actually thought it was
Now,
somebody that she was seeing in
now
her
let me
heart.
let me ask you this now. People like say that have those pedophiles, serial killers in life. Now, do you think when their energy shifts over, are they in the dark as
No,
energy like that?
I believe this was dynamic. This one, I don't think this was a
Now,
living.
who becomes demonic? How does that work even? You know, it's like, how do you become demonic? I feel like those kind of people
An
should be
entity that
labeled
was
demonic to
never,
me.
it was something that was never a human being in human life. Like again, angels, devils,
Right. You're going into
angels, devils. So for this particular thing, I don't believe it was any living person at one time. It was definitely a demon. It was definitely a demonic
So
force.
for not
And-
even specifically on that woman that you're talking about, but do you always have to, even if not consciously, do you have to invite it in, or can it just attach itself to you?
You can attach itself to you, but see, I myself know how to protect myself.
Gotcha.
So I don't bring anything home. Do you know
Yep.
what I mean? And where my son was very worried about me that I was going to do that, he was worried because, of course, he's my
Listen,
child.
man, shit. I tell you one of the scariest movies is The Exorcist.
Yeah,
so, like,
Exorcist is your scariest, so it makes
yeah,
sense.
you come home with that shit. Where you going? What you gonna do?
But that was kind of my question, Donna. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like if you're in that line, if you're doing
Right.
dark
No, I know how to
magic,
protect myself. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I protect myself. I envision a light around me, circle of light, protect day and night. I put myself almost in a magic bubble where it's all in my intent. And anybody who does any kind of magic, it's in your intent. If you're bad, your intent is bad. Do you know what I mean? If your intent is good, your intent is good. It all depends on the intent of the worker.
So now, not this specific woman again, but so if you're living foul and you're just not doing the right thing, you can
Right.
be inviting in just
You're
bad
bringing
energy
anything
and bad.
negative with you. Anything negative is going to attach.
Gotcha.
Yes.
You know, you think about certain times where somebody just you feel like, damn, he's always just doing some negative, and eventually it just catches up to him. It's like he's playing around in the dark so long that the dark's just like, hey, we got you. You're in jail now.
For the most part, I really do believe in karma. Like I really believe in that shit, because there's certain people that you feel like they're escaping it, but for the most part, I don't know. In my own life, I felt like when I do the right thing, a good amount of times the right thing happens,
Right.
Absolutely. And it happens to me daily. Yeah. But when you do something, like say, we could get a whole topic of this where somebody will put up on Facebook, oh, I saw somebody homeless today. I fed them. You are an attention seeker. That was not anything from your heart.
Yeah, it's not pure.
If you're going to do it from your heart, you're not going to talk about it.
Exactly.
So do it. So when somebody like that says, oh, I don't understand why I have such bad luck, because you're looking for something back. You're not doing that with the intention of, this is truly from my heart that I did this. Do you know what I mean? I have a friend that for many years, people only, because she's in my circle, do I know? But she works in the soup kitchen all the time. But she never goes around and brags about it. Never goes, and she always has good happen to her in life. Because she doesn't brag about it. I just know about it.
It feels good for her to go
That's
and
a
do
pure
that,
intention
so
of that's a pure intention of good deed. That's a good deed example.
If your only payment is satisfaction, that's you're in the right place.
Right. True.
Now, the way it was in the documentary. Now, is mirrors any? Because I see a lot of mirrors when they talk about these things.
Kind of tricky with mirrors. Mirrors hold souls to me. Like you have to be very careful with the mirrors. Even if you buy a mirror at a secondhand store or something, you better shade the shit out of that or bless that because mirrors hold things.
Really?
Mirrors
I just bought a used mirror. You never told me that. No, I'm just kidding.
When did you buy
I'm just kidding, man. I didn't.
Mirrors are the windows to your soul.
If you buy a dresser with a mirror on it, that was you.
If you buy anything secondhand, you should sage it.
Right.
And then
I get weird with shoes like that.
No. Never buy somebody else's shoes. You wear somebody else's woes, somebody else's problems, because our feet are center to everything. Our feet are what ground us. Our feet are our center. Even when you're working in Reiki, that's your chakra, your strongest chakra. Your heart is at your feet. Yeah, that's never buy it.
That's funny because it reminds me of the damn fucking, Five's got those slippers he got with all the fucking different.
Oh yeah, the reflexology slippers.
Right, and it's all for different parts that can work different organs in your body through your feet though. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. Now he says that chakra energy that just goes through. It's all like it all entwines, man. With like energy, spirituality, and you add science in there. Like science got some shit that they don't like it.
Yeah.
Even when I do works like my magic, I'm always barefoot because I've always felt like my sign is Earth. I'm a Capricorn, I'm Earth. So I always feel like I have to touch. My feet have to touch the ground for me to be grounded in order to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. That. Like if you're like they say if you're feeling off, they say literally like go stand barefoot on the actual earth and it helps you.
To ground yourself. That's true. It's a true story.
Energy we're made from earth, and it's
kind
of
all
the elements.
Many times
all
my
the elements.
Children, Ma, put shoes on. Ma, put shoes on. How many times, children?
Yeah, and also I heard like walking on concrete is horrible for you. Like if you walk on concrete,
man-made, right?
That saps energy from you. It
does. You got to touch the earth. The earth.
That's why people live for a while when they live in the woods.
Grass. Be on grass, barefoot on grass.
Oh, that's why you see old time. There's an old guy living out in the middle of Dakota right now, probably 110 years old, and he's probably stronger than ox. You know what I mean? Right. He's just living off the elements.
Does Zodiac play a major thing also, Nanas?
What's that, honey?
Your Zodiac sign, does that play anything?
Oh, like absolutely. Absolutely. Even when I'm doing readings, I don't want to know somebody's birth sign because then a gypsy could just say, you go to somebody and say, when's your birthday? Don't give it to them because you could generalize so much by a person's zodiac.
Personality.
But then it comes into play, like, because I'm a Capricorn, but I'm a very chatty Capricorn. Most Capricorns are more introvert and into themselves, which I could get up on my mountain and not be bothered. Michael knows this. Like, I don't want to be alone. But my descending sign is Libra. Libras are chatty. So that's where I get that from. So your zodiac signs are something, but you can find your descending sign.
I thought it was it's a ascending sign, right?
Right.
Ascending sign. All right, not descending. Ascending. Yep. Because I looked up mine, and it goes by where the planets were lined up in the moon was when you were born.
At the time of your birth.
Right. I looked up mine. My ascending, I believe, was at the time, and it was I'm a Leo. So that would probably I kind of feel like that explains like why I'm more.
Most cancers are shy,
most cancers are, and that's why I think like musically getting on stage and
come in strong.
You're far from shy though.
Right, I have my shy moments, but I have a lot of shy moments. You know what I mean? Growing up, especially. I think the main came as I got older. That part of the lion came out early. 20 type. Like, oh wait, nigga, I'm here.
but you know real quick,
well, I could see the coyness when you was younger. I could see that. Yeah.
I was locked in when y'all was running.
True. Yeah.
You didn't finish. How do we find out? How do we find out our ascending sign? Because you almost had it, and then
sorry.
Your exact time of birth. You just have to know your exact time of birth.
Okay.
On your day.
Meaning the literal time. The literal time.
Like I was right on your birth certificate. It tell you 8:09 or whatever a.m.
8:40. Mine was 8:44 on a Saturday.
Put it in Google. Just do your date. Right. Do your month, your year, and your time. You just Google that shit.
And that's what you're saying, my ascending sign, and then say, what's my ascending sign? And I was born on boom, 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 and then it'll take you somewhere. Like I did it. That's why I found mine on a web. I forgot what website it was.
I know this is off topic a little bit, but what do you think about this 13th zodiac sign that they're talking about?
I don't believe. No.
They're trying to say that there's a sign in between November and December, October and November.
So then, like everyone else gets shifted, right? Wasn't that what it was?
Yes. So basically, everybody is not like, if it was a Pisces, you're not really a Pisces, you're an Aquarius.
Zodiacs and the stars have played such an important time. BC, like way back. Look at Headstone. What's that place in? What's it called in Ireland? Stonehenge.
The Stonehenges, yes.
All that's lined up with the stars for your zodiac. It's been since BC.
Right. They've been connecting the stars.
Right. Do not believe this. They've been watching the stars forever and your zodiac signs forever. Our zodiac signs are up there in the stars.
Yeah. Right.
They're literally.
So that's right. So you're right. That's where it all. For those that don't know, that your zodiac comes from the actual constellation. Is and that belief of where energy from, like stardust and everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind
Stardust.
of where that comes from.
Do you guys feel that yours matches up? Because I do. I'm an Aries, and I feel like I'm the definition.
Oh, you're a true Aries.
Yeah.
You are.
Do you guys feel like yours matches up?
Oh, I know.
I really never paid mine to it. You know what I mean?
I'll pay attention for you. I think he is, just because I know his sign. That's why we click so well, though, too, because fish, water, and water signs usually do. Pisces,
Pisces.
crabs.
Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yeah. You're classic.
Because I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about reading it every day. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about reading it every day in the newspaper. Just by the definition, not the daily horoscope. I'm not talking about that. It's just
by definition, by personality.
Yeah,
just by personality.
I laugh because I was tell you, Phat, because my pops, my mother's ex-husband there, rest in peace, Pop, he was an Aries. He was April 15th, and I said I always noticed, similarity with energy, man. You know what I mean? It's just a certain energy, man. You know what I'm saying?
About Aries, you're very truthful. You will not lie. You will speak truth at all times. Even when
he just had a whole rant about he fucking liars. Go ahead.
Even brutally honest, even to the point where people say, "Damn," but you're honest.
That was my dad. That was my father. That was my father.
Father was Aries.
To a T. He would tell you shit you didn't like to your face.
Very loyal.
And hard what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm definitely loyal, like super loyal, and
to your circle.
What bugged me out to what you were saying in the beginning about like people have to ask for forgiveness. I'm not good at the forgiveness thing. Like I'm good at fuck you, I'll never deal with you again. But the forgiveness thing, but I feel like I don't like hold on to the anger. It's just that person doesn't exist to me anymore. I know. Yeah, it's one of.
I did too. I'm a lot like that too. I am, because I hold it and it's not good. It's hard for me to let that go. It really is. And it was very big, very, very hard for me to let that particular thing go. Yeah. Especially. I have a hard time with that myself. I do.
Yeah, because I almost view it as like they got away with it. If I quote forgive them, and because I don't know if it's saying it out loud, because if I don't really believe it in my heart.
It was brought to me is they're not thinking about it. We were. Do you know, it's weighing heavy on us. Like to lift that, to just like, okay, like to surrender it, let it go. Like not to give it that thought or that to energy. You're releasing that for yourself, not for them. Because their karma is going to come back to them regardless.
Right. You're never going to see it, which is a satisfaction loss, but
well,
that was
but not in the way I wanted it to for that particular
reason. Right. That was the ultimate, actually. Right. Yeah. That's bad karma that got
bad karma. It did. But he did a lot of bad things to warrant that. He did.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So a lot of what Bloody Mary was saying, I guess, is valid. So with the left hand, that's a receptive thing, because that's what they were saying. The left hand, you receive.
Right.
Oh, you're not. Is that not on your thing with the like left being the receiving hand? Is that like a big thing?
No, not for me personally. No, No.
Okay. Because she didn't proclaim to be a witch, did she? Bloody Mary. What did she say she
I
was?
think
The
she
witches
was.
were the
I
ladies.
think
The
she
witches were
was.
the ladies in the circle with the coven.
But well, there's
Yes.
different kinds. Like I said, there's different kinds of like any religion. There's different kinds of witches.
I just don't know if she identified in the documentary as, a title. I don't remember.
She was a witch, but she didn't say which kind.
Okay.
But she does. She does all the that New Orleans.
Yeah, she was the top medium,
almost like a witch doctor. Like I think down there they call them witch doctors, right? Down in Louisiana, I think they call them witch doctors.
On the because I always have the documentary on in the background. On it right now, with the first time she pops up, it says Bloody Mary, Voodoo / New Orleans historian. But I feel like she was a little bit more than that. But
I do too. I liked her. I really did.
Yeah.
She was the best part of the documentary for me because I also
agree.
felt like she was kind of like not bullshitting. And I like what she was saying about with the board. She's like, listen, just ask it a yes or no question. I don't got time to play around with all the spelling out shit. I felt that.
I'm glad.
She's like, for me, I just can't sit. I can't sit around all day like
exactly
spelling shit out. Like, come on, yes or no questions.
Yeah. Well, see, even when we did it, always moves fast, not slow like in that documentary. I never. In all the years I've done the board, or even this one, the one I have here, did it ever move slow? Ever? It always just would go where you almost had to keep up. A, B, C, D. Like you had to keep up.
It was moving.
Somebody had to write down.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like in this one, when it was moving, that's when they got suspicious. They're like, "Oh, it's moving too quick."
Right.
And it's like,
and
I thought that's what you wanted.
Energy because they were negative. That's why it was going so slow.
And you know what's crazy? Did you see that part where it said that? Because remember they the Denmark research, and in Denmark they said that none of them have Ouija boards. It was new to them. They said we don't know what this is. We don't do that here. And then if you look at the writing at the end of it was like almost all of the results from the Denmark research people said they had positive interactions.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So they said they felt movement. You know what I mean?
My bad experiences as a young adult, I never touched another board after that. Yeah. I never did because of what happened to me. But this other board, I never looked at it to be truth. I never did. I just looked at it as entertainment. I don't hold it as what it says is bond. Do you know what I mean?
Right. But why not that one though? Do you think the Ouija is a different kind of one than you think? Are they? Or do you feel like that about all of them? Or
you could just make a piece of paper and put yes, no, and the alphabet on it, and just
But
glass, an empty glass, put it on the bottom. It doesn't have to be that board.
Right.
That's why people have been using this since the late 1600s.
Right. What I'm saying was when you said entertainment, it's more like you're not saying you're writing it off as being fake. You're just saying you're not taking it. You know what I mean? Is it
not as serious? No.
Not as serious. But is there serious things that are coming through it though? You know what I mean? These are these because I think what I'm asking is because I think they said it in here. That's what I'm getting around to. In the document, they said it too. Is a lot of times the spirits that are coming through they're playing games.
And that's what happened with us.
And they're tricking around. There's trickery going on with a lot of them. There's
is that a true thing though? Is that
they know things on the other side and they can trick you like that?
The trickery came in saying it was my mother, and we were letting in other bad things. That was the trickery. It was not my mother.
Right.
Okay.
Bait and switch.
So that does happen. So that is a thing.
Right. We didn't do any protection. Okay. We didn't do anything. We just whipped up the board and started moving it around. And then watching that documentary said, that made me, all these years later, and if we had done a protection or knew about that, we wouldn't have brought in what we did. Do you know what I mean? So I no longer change my views view it as being evil. It's all on the person using it and protecting yourself before you do something like that.
Right, because if you guys notice in the documentary, after they seen Bloody Mary, they went directly right to the swamp, right? And they didn't do what she was said to do. Right when they brought it out, just because.
I didn't hear none of that.
They didn't bless it.
The board.
They didn't do nothing. Well, yeah, they had the same board. No, it was the same board.
But don't they have to say the blessing every time before they use it though?
That's what I thought. I thought they said they have to do that every time.
This one I have you do. Every time you open it, you have to say to your blessing.
Right. But she said that in there. Bloody Mary said that too, though. Every time you do it, you got to do that.
That's what I thought.
Well,
I
blessed
when they broke it out,
invited, and they didn't say, you know, all they said was the goodbye part. All they had right was the goodbye part. You know what I mean?
Right. When they went to that bridge in the swamp, they brought it out. You know what I mean? They was like, well, this board is connected now to me and you. And that was it. And then they started asking the board questions.
Hey guys, I'm gonna run outside and get my Amazon box. I'm in Amazon. I'll be right back.
All right.
Get the Amazon. Be careful.
So you know what I mean? So that was the thing I picked up, that where they didn't like open up with a prayer. They didn't open up with anything. They just started asking questions like bang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
like we said before, like I think she was trying to write it off from the jump. Like, I mean, if you're gonna research, you gotta have an open mind a little bit. You know, but I think in a way it's okay to be that way, because
it's her perspective.
Be open though, right? It's gonna be, but if you're gonna be open about the shit, like don't write shit off if you feel something just because you want to be right. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. You know, like if you really felt some shit, be honest with yourself and be honest. Yep. You know, but if you really didn't, then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Then you can't knock you for that, but only she knows if she's being honest about what she's interacting with. You know what I mean?
Well, I really don't think she was as genuine, because even at the end.
I didn't like Summer, not one bit.
You didn't like Summer?
No, I didn't.
I'm glad because even at the end, you know what I'm saying? At the outtakes, like you could tell there was, you know what I mean? When it was just her and that dude at the end.
Look I could take my hands to shake.
Yeah.
Anybody could do that. I mean? Oh, I'm shaking. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, she was trying
to. Even the outtakes at the end. You know how many times they would take those takes they were doing? Like that was. I'm like, yo, what the fuck you doing?
But I don't think she sees like. Is she seeing that she's contradicting herself when she does that? Like I don't believe in it, but I'm showing you weird things that are happening to me. Like isn't that contradicting when you? I don't believe in it, but look, there's weird things that are happening. I can't explain it, and I don't feel too good, and my energy's shifting, and you're hearing things in your documentary and voices, and you're not even talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, in that part when they was in Texas, and when they were in Texas, you know what I'm saying? I think they was just generalizing, because everybody knows, you know what I mean, when there's a spirit or whatever, I don't know if it's true or not, but what they say is, your room would get cold. But when your room get cold, I thought, those are like evil spirits.
But I've experienced it with no coldness.
That's what I'm saying.
I could sometimes, for me personally, it started since I was as long as I can remember, and being a child, the child's mind sees what a child's mind sees. So it used to be stuffed animals that used to parade in and out of my room, like a big stuffed giraffe or a big stuffed elephant, and I used to, my whole childhood, I slept underneath the covers because I was always afraid of the stuffed animals that were parading through my room. Then as I got older, they became silhouettes of people. So I was always seeing, but then came the 70s and drugs were involved. I was a 70s person. I feel a lot of acid, a lot of shrooms. I feel like I blocked out a lot of that part of me. And it wasn't until I stopped, and just stuck with my cannabis, then I started seeing things again. But then being older, I would tap into the energy of what I saw. So I could see, like say I could see somebody, but I don't see a face. I never see anybody's face, but I could tell you if they have a mustache or if they have a beard or if they have eyeglasses, but I never see a face. And that's not, doing research, that's not as uncommon as I thought. I thought it was just me. Like, why am I not seeing faces? But it's more of my feel of what that person looks like, or that person of what they are, male, female.
And that's kind of like almost like you're almost capturing like when we have those things, like when we went, because me and her and my lady, we brought the kids, we went to that cemetery in Monroe. Yeah. Was it?
Yeah.
Where the lady in white is supposed to be known to be walking around there. It's a very big, heavy, active
spot. A lot of hot and cold spots there. Yeah.
Right. And I actually have, I think I can find it if you let me share a picture that I took when, remember the picture it was Leah, you know, my lady's car. We were at the cemetery. We were taking pictures everywhere. And there's one picture she saw. She's like, what's this weird like light spot? And she zoomed in. Now this is a picture right from our cell phone. She zoomed in on it, and there's like in a zoom, it's like a trapped image of a person, like full blown, like he was like peeking and like look, it kind of gave me goose. Like I couldn't explain what I was seeing. It's like it was kind of clear.
Yeah, you're good to share whenever you want. The other thing I was going to say too, I'm on the spot in the documentary here where, Bloody Mary broke it down to him. She was talking to him about you open your board, you do your salutation, and you ask them for their help. It was about being respectful, type of and just if you pop up with a dick pic, I just need to let you know that we can see everything right now.
No, I don't. Those aren't in here. Those aren't in here. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's in a different folder.
I got you. But yeah, she was explaining and telling them every time to do a certain thing. And I don't, unless they left it out of the movie, I don't think that they did that shit. You know, like they didn't.
The one, Michael. Yeah, there it is in the corner.
So you guys can see this picture, right? All right. So this is the regular picture she took from her phone. That's her minivan over here, right? So she saw to the right over here. She's like, "What's that light over here? Why does that look funny?" So she's zooming in on it. And if you look like right in the middle, there's like a silhouette of I'm gonna show you the other picture. She highlighted it for me.
That looks like a troll type guy, right? Like
I don't see anything.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what she highlighted me because I couldn't see it either. Now she highlighted it right here. Now that's zoomed in. See the guy to the left? That's the tombstone.
Some features.
Yup. The tombstone is in the middle. To the right, it's like a guy with a hand to his mouth. And see his hair and his eyes?
Shit.
And now look to the right of the tombstone. That's like a baby leaning on a fucking tombstone, bro. Do you see that? Or is that just like a baby with his arm to his head?
Yeah.
Like a child?
I see the guy more than I see the
guy.
baby. But
the baby could be off. The one that's to the right is that guy was the one that freaked her the fuck out. I couldn't see what she was saying.
Female. I see it as a female.
Go to the before picture one more time. The before picture.
Oh shit. My bad.
Yeah, the before picture. Yeah. Okay. And you're saying to the left is what you
to the right.
Oh, okay. To
the right. See now you can see the guy.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like
you know what I'm saying?
A shadow or something.
He's like right there, and then what she did was now if you back up, you could kind of still see the body. It's like somebody leaned outside of the fucking tombstone and did that pose.
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely see that.
It's just strange, man. I was the first time I've ever seen shit like that.
So there was no light over there though. When we were just taking a bunch of pictures. We're in a cemetery. It's pitch black. You know what I mean? It's an old ass cemetery, man. And there was a part.
Michael himself, young pastry himself, has experienced many things because we lived in a very, very extremely haunted apartment. And he used to hear, I remember when we first moved in there, they all made fun of me because they go, here goes
I talked myself
again.
Out of every experience I've ever been through, just to let you know.
That's crazy because I remember when I was coming around. I remember on Main Street where Nana used to always be like, yo, just last night I saw a body walking through the hallway. And then she was like,
right. But you remember, I don't know if you were part of it, Pete, everybody that came over never wanted to sit in Pop-Pop's chair. Because they used to the hallway, they said watching TV out the corner of the eye, it always felt like somebody was walking by. Nobody, really? At Shice, I remember Mike Deke was like that. Shice, nobody wants to sit in that chair. It's like, every time I sit in that chair, I get a weird feeling from your hallway.
Except for him, Pop-Up never felt anything in there. Never did.
And you know what's crazy? We actually looked up the history of that place, and way back when it was a fucking brothel.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
The location. That location.
Yes.
Yeah. So hence the hallway. Hence the up and down the hallway. That's
right. Fucking madams out there checking on their women and shit.
Wow.
The first night we were there, and we were all indulging in some cannabis, sitting around, and I saw an old pioneer back. I can remember today exactly what she looked like. She was an older, chubby woman. She had the whole a pioneer kind of.
I feel like I saw her, Ma. That's so crazy you said that shit. I told you about that time. I was laying on the couch.
Her hair was up in a bun, and her dress was like a slate blue with these tiny little flowers on it. I can remember like it's yesterday. And I said something. Here goes his brother. Oh, there goes mommy.
No, but no, that time, man, I can never get it out of my head because I'm still up in the air as if I was like in some subconsciousness state of being awake or not. You know what I mean? It was one of those I couldn't explain. I was laying down on the couch, and you know, Gray used to always sleep on my chest. You know, my kitty cat Gray. You remember Gray
Yeah.
boy? You know, he always used to sleep on my chest. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I remember laying there, and I remember I don't know, I sprung up, and I sprung up because it felt like somebody like that lady you're kind of describing. I felt an image of her like rush into the living room, like almost coming towards, and I fucking popped up. And I didn't know if it was like, yo, did I just fucking dream that shit? Did that just happen? You know what I mean? It was weird. Cause I was like, I played it off because like, yo, I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? At that point, it's like, I don't know. Am I fucking bugging the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
Was Gray just on me and I just fucking tossed him?
I used to get up in the middle of the night because I used to hear somebody knocking at the back door. Nobody was
chimes. The chimes. She put chimes on all her doors. I used to hear the fucking chimes on the back door. Yeah, I used to do some other. Yo, I used to do some scary ass shit though. I used to just kind of just reach over, close my door with my finger.
I might have to.
I'm not going out there. I don't even know. And then I'm thinking like, then there was moments of me fighting with like, you know, I'm a little older, so now I'm like, yeah, man, somebody probably in the fucking house, man. You should fucking kill us all while we're sleeping. Maybe you should go check it out.
I gotta protect my family.
Right? And then I get out there and there's nothing, and now I'm fucking running back to the fucking room now because you know the apartment's only for so big.
One time it was late at night and I was watching TV. I couldn't sleep. I was laying the opposite end of the bed. My husband was sleeping in the bed, and I saw this big, huge, like this had to have been like a giant figure silhouette, like somebody big, walk straight down the hallway, and I got chills all over me. Randy was sleeping. Every light went on in the house because I did get a little freaked out. I went and checked on Michael. Michael was sleeping. There was nobody. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody was up.
No, that apartment always sat funny with me sometimes. And it wasn't there.
Teresa was excited because I called her. I was always in bed early. She goes, I can't believe you're up. And I said, I can't fucking sleep. Somebody's in this fucking house.
Nah, but everybody that was like Teresa, when she spent the night over there, they all said they had weird, especially in that living room.
Did.
And now, you know what? And it wasn't a big apartment. You came up the stairs and it was like one main hallway and everything was off that hallway. Bathroom, bedrooms, living room. You know what I'm saying?
Was my witness for this one. You had already moved out of the house. Krista took over your room and she was with her girlfriend. She was, she's bi. She was with her girlfriend, and we were painting our living room. So we were up all night painting, and I had this, those Mexican pots out that they put outside for fire, like you put the wood in it. The bottom. I had one that I had by the stereo, and it had a crack in it because somebody used to blast the music when I wasn't home, and
fucking Vinny.
So it had a little crack in it, all right, to begin with. So we finished painting. We're dead tired. The girls go in the room. I go in my room. All of a sudden, I hear this, like a sigh, like a boredom sigh. And I thought, are the girls doing something in the room? That's what I thought. But just before that, I heard right after that, I heard this big crash, right? Loud as hell crash. Well, I don't know why I wasn't scared, but I got up and I saw the pottery thing was all shattered to pieces, all on the ground. So I'm picking it up, motherfucking picking it up. Jesus Christ, da, 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 da. It had the crack in it, blah, blah, blah. But in the morning, I said to self, good thing I didn't think about it because I would have never went to bed. How did that fall over? It's like somebody picked it up and dropped it and crashed it because it was on a stand, like a metal stand.
It was it high off the ground? Stand. Was it high? It
was on the ground. It was low to the ground.
It was a low ground stand?
Right. So somebody had to have picked it up and dropped it and crashed it. Well, when the girls woke up, I said, "You didn't hear. You didn't come save me when you heard the crash. I could have been dead." And what Krista says, but did you hear that before the crash? And I said,
holy shit,
I thought it was you girls. And she goes, Nana, we don't make no moans like that.
We're quiet warriors.
A little bit quieter now, but she said, but did you hear before that? So I wasn't the only one that almost like I'm bored. Let me wake these bitches up. You know.
Smash. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. That's pretty.
Damn.
A lot of things happened in that
apartment.
That apartment
It was weird. Like I said, to not be that big of an apartment, it just the living room. I think I said I always sat on the couch. I always sat on the couch. I didn't even when that recliner was open. I just didn't like watching TV, and it was always out the peripheral. That hallway. I always almost felt like somebody was peeking. There was a shadow there. It just felt like it. And it was like that. Always like damn, almost caught the nigga. You know that's how it felt. But I never seen anything. But like just that feeling alone was uneasy enough to be like I don't even want to sit here no more.
And that apartment picked me. That apartment did pick me. I went and saw that apartment without my husband, and I wanted it that bad. And why is beyond me. They picked me.
I know it was a small ass apartment. I'm surprised, man.
Well, it had 3 bedrooms.
I know it had 3. I know, but it was a smaller 3 bed. Like I said, because everything was right there. You know, one hallway, boom, boom, boom. But we had some great times.
Oh yeah.
So now is that a situation where you just sage the shit out of everything? You know, or is that sometimes sage isn't strong enough for that type of
like for that house that I had to do, sage wasn't strong enough.
No, how about where we were at on Main Street?
Oh no, sage wouldn't have been strong enough for that.
Wow.
There was a lot.
I remember when she used to do that. She used to sage the apartment. I used to be there when she used to do her sages and stuff.
All the time. It wasn't strong enough because there were a lot of entities in there. There was one I used to call him the ringleader. I named him David. Probably was his real name in real life when something comes to you, but he was like the ringleader. I felt like there were a lot of spirits, but he ran the show.
He probably ran the damn pimp.
One time we were playing a prank, God forgive me, on a coworker of mine that was a scary cat, Mary Jane.
That's terrible.
And we were doing like it was around Halloween. I said, we're going to be doing a seance. Mary Jane, come on over. You down? And she's like, yeah. So as I'm doing my fake seance, we had Krista have the capsule in her mouth with the fake blood to do the whole thing, right? But as I'm doing my spirits, if you're here, give us a sign. I'm actually feeling breathing on my neck. So I know he was liking what I was doing.
Yeah, David's like, oh, you want to play around, huh? You want to play around?
All right. We getting cute? Dave, we just playing around, Dave. Chill.
Put that ghost dick on your shoulder. You know
David! Freshie. I know, it was a whorehouse. You got to be careful.
Right?
A brothel.
Don't yawn.
You used to hear scratching, nobody like you see in the movies where they say they heard scratching inside the walls.
Oh.
That apartment used to happen there too. Scratches in the walls.
Inside the walls.
Crazy.
Inside the walls.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy, man. You saying that because in my apartment now, like I could be sleeping and you'll hear a thump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you hear thumps all over the place. Yep. You hear shit running. You hear like things running around. I just think like it's a squirrel.
And remember everybody back in the day, they used to be like, oh, that's just a house settling. Remember that? The house settling.
Settling from what?
Exactly. Is the house mad? Is it cool?
What is it settling for?
Yep. Damn.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's so cool. But you know, all in all, this is a great conversation too.
I know we got off topic of the thing.
That's okay. It happens. It happens. When you're enlightening it, you're right where it's supposed to be because it's all involving in what we watched. Anyway,
we made our own documentary of a documentary. How about that?
Right. You know, so what we do too, Maz, we go around the board and we give them votes. Well, I judge by 5 out of 5 watermelons. How I judge it.
Yeah, we grade it. Yeah.
Right. 5 does pumpkins. He does canepas. You can do broomsticks if you like.
Broomsticks.
Yeah. Out of 5 broomsticks. Okay. So we usually roll it like that. And also, just to give it out there to people out there, Reverend Nana can also do readings over the phone
or virtual
Facebook
Messenger.
Right.
Nice.
So she can do it that way as well. And she don't want, I'm going to do the plug for her. So by all means, you can reach out to her on her phone number 203-508-4295. And that's Elaine, Reverend Elaine. Okay. 203. Yeah, 203-508-4295. And you can set those readings up right over the phone, and we'll handle those arrangements how they work. And you'll have a great experience in doing so. So I suggest those of you that want to hear and listen and do things and say stuff and hear stuff and are involved to being open and chime in and get
That's
involved
the
with
only
Nana.
thing I
That's
ever
great.
ask is to be open. That's it. Have an
Yeah.
open mind.
Right.
Nice.
And she's not gonna, if you don't like her reading, she's not gonna, be, you're just stupid. Like, she's not gonna trump you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I've never had anybody displeased, and I've been doing this for years. So
listen, you did my cards about 10 years ago, and it
I
was on point,
remember.
and it was right on point.
And you had to bring it up to me. He brought it up to me.
Shit.
Yes, yeah. I remember that. Because now remember, when these things come out, a lot of people think, like, when she gives them things, a lot of times you immediately would think,
right away.
It's gonna happen like this week or something. You know what I'm saying? But this was down the line. This was like months down the line, and you came back with it's like, yo, your mom said X, Y, Z. You remember that? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, yeah, I'm in that boat right now. I'm like, oh shit,
it was right.
And I tend to forget when I do somebody's because it's not my thing to remember.
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah. Like sometimes I'll forget, like I'll get a client that'll come back and said, remember when you told me this? I'm like,
right, no.
Okay,
I see people all the time. Really. I see people all the time. Which one was you again?
Because I remember
wait, I'm confusing you with somebody else. Yeah.
A lot of it was on point, but I remember like one of them that was true was about the love life, and then another one was about like my grandfather who had, I think, recently passed on. But like I said, I if you guys need a rating system, yes, 5 stars for mom there. She got it on point. So yes.
Oh,
yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was crazy. Right, because it was like he went into it like he wasn't totally on board with what it was, but he was open to it, and then it was like, and then
hard for me to do my children, because I'm so close to them. But one time Michael did get me off guard. Ma, just pick out 3 cards.
Flip up. That's my thing. That's my thing. Ma, flip a couple.
I really said like whatever I was feeling. And then I think it was 2 days later or something that happened for you. Whatever I said 2 days after that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, definitely on point. But yeah, oh, go ahead.
And I was there.
I had just fucking around. You know what I'm saying? I think I told y'all before, but just fucking around. Right, there was a lady. I was in adult ed, and she was like a fill-in teacher. And she was explaining what she does. And she's like, yeah, I read poems, I'm not as extensive, but, I'm starting to, learn and, I can, figure out things in that, right? So I was like, all right. So I was like, here, right? Just to fuck around, right? So she looks at my hand, right? And I'm just thinking, all right, let's just see what happens. So she says, yeah, I see restaurants in your future, right? And a lot of food, right? Right, and then she stops, and then she's like, "I can't see nothing else, but that's what I see." And I'm like, "Yeah, go figure, because I'm fat, right?" You know what I'm saying?
I think you need to train more, lady.
yeah, you know what I mean.
When you go to somebody and they'll say like, I feel change. Well, duh, there's change every fucking day.
Yeah, that's the most constant there is.
Right.
But when I get that first impression, I laugh at myself because I think of that, but I say, but the change, my first impression could be change, but then I'll elaborate about the change.
Yeah.
But when I get that first thought, I always laugh at myself. I see change,
I see great change in your future. Today, it's not the fries. You'll get the tater tots. Like the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the person behind the curtain.
Well, let's rate this. Let's rate this. You guys go first.
All right. So I guess it goes by who I started off. So I go with the.
So you flicked it.
Picked it to flick it. All right. So out of 5 melons, I'm gonna go with, because I judge them by the documentary themselves too. We all do, but I try to like look at Summer's presentation and not the topic. You know what I'm saying? So out of Summer's presentation, she's gonna get about 2.5 for me. you know, she get about 2.5 for how she presented things, but there was some good things in there presented as far as, yeah, I mean, it just opened up a whole almost 2 hours of us giving some good flow into that world of things, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that, and I appreciate being able to bring my mom up here to discuss these
I
things, you know what I
know.
mean?
It's
After
fun.
I called you late night on a bacon episode,
Let's not forget that 510 was
Shit. Did I miss something here?
Yeah, it was the Mother's Day episode. I called her like 3 a.m. and she was half out of it, and she told me Happy Mother's Day too. As I said, Happy Mother's Day.
She goes,
Yes,
Happy
same to you
Mother's Day,
too.
Mom. I said, same to you.
Same to you. You too, baby. You too. You too.
First word to you. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Yes, yes.
What's wrong? Right. It was 3 a.m. Something's wrong. What the fuck are you calling me for?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Right. But all in all, Summer's presentation, I didn't like how she kind of, like I said, I felt that she came in not more open-minded. I feel like when you're researching something, you have to be a blank slate. You know what I mean? You're coming into something, you gotta kind of like, hey, I gotta be open to this shit. Even if I feel as though it's not real, you kind of have to be open to like, hey, maybe it possibly is, because why the fuck else would you be researching it? Because if you already got your mind made up and it's not real, then what are we doing? You know what I mean? Obviously, there's something there that you're feeling like, oh, it's probably might be, but I don't think she represented that balance perfectly in this documentary as far as giving the presentation of the whole Ouija board. But it was, you know, the people that were guests helped save her points, you know, melons to me. You know what I mean? Like Bloody Mary, the witches, and that's pretty cool that you knew that guy. I didn't even know that. Guy, Chris. That's pretty dope.
The warlock guy in New Orleans?
Yeah. Oh, you missed that part earlier when she talking about. I don't know if you heard that, but she knows. Yeah. So him and the makeup he wears for
Christian Day.
Yeah. But 2.5 watermelons. Could have been better presented, but the strong 2.5 in content. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So,
Ma, you can go next.
There you go, mommy. Give me your broomsticks.
Two broomsticks. I don't even give it
right.
Summer's ruined it for me. I didn't like her. Not one bit. I didn't like her presentation. But I did like Bloody Mary very much. I did. She was I got a good vibes from her. Yes.
How did you feel about now? This is one because the coven were of your brood of like they're witches too.
Yes,
how did you feel about the Hierus priestess? She was like the main one of them, right?
I'm trying to remember because I did remember there was things that she was talking about was relatable, and she also talked about the left hand too. Right. I remember that also. Hand. Right. I just never heard that before from, not saying that I'm not denying it or saying it's true or not true. I just personally never heard anything about the left hand.
Right. So you're going to stand on a strong...
She was on point with things too. So she was pretty good.
Okay. So
strong, I related to a lot of things.
A strong two brooms.
Two brooms to fly in and drop it on. Strong two for the content once again. And Summer's losing ground. Let's go around the horn. And somebody else loving Summer. Let's
go Cinco.
Yeah. For me, I had 2 as well, and pretty much the 2 were for Bloody Mary because to me she saved the documentary with her realism. Because there were some other cats that were okay, but even like when they were at the Ouija convention, cats got like a sentence. You know what I mean? Like they were I wonder what happened to the rest of their interview because she would sit there and they would end up with one sentence in the end of the movie. So that was weird to me, but. Right. I don't know. I give it 2 out of 5. It was.
Can I take a half away? I just thought about because of fucking. She never. They never talked about the content they found. Like you're doing a documentary on it, and you found some evidence that your even cameraman is like I'm hearing things.
Did all this research.
Yeah.
Right. Why did you like? My whole thing is like that to me is a groundbreaking. Like if I'm going in there as a blank slate and I have audio that is being picked up on this thing. It's going to be very important to my research to kind of elaborate on. That's, I would think,
Yeah. For me, I gave it 2 out of 5 because it seemed like every time it was going in the direction where she could believe it, she cut it off. Like for the first thing, when they put the cameras on her eyes, she was like, yeah, it is moving a lot and like seemed to kind of not like it. And then like you're saying with the witches, when yeah, did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Well, then give me a second sentence. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Elaborate on that.
Did you hear it? Run it back on the tape. Was anyone saying anything? Like, let me know.
Sometimes in defense of that, you have to have special equipment to pick up that sound. Like, say we could hear it with the naked ear, but maybe the camera won't pick it up. And vice versa, that happens. Because I really did a real investigation one time with all the real equipment and everything. That was fun too. Where I would pick up, like I'd be the one to say, okay, focus in this area. And that's where they went. Like they went on my instinct.
Nice.
Where I
That's cool.
Nice.
And then especially for the part that really messed me up is I felt like Alejandro was fake as fuck the entire time. Like nothing that he did felt real to me. Nothing that he did felt real to me. It all
like,
felt
I've got this negative energy around me all week, and I want to find out about that.
Even
I agree.
Either that's just who he is as a human being, or he's just the worst actor I've ever seen in my life. Because it just looked, I don't know, just none of it felt real. But 2 out of 5 for me, but 5 out of 5 for the podcast that we made out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we, you know. But yeah, that's me.
All right, Fat Cat Canepa, what we got?
I give it a 1 soul Canepa.
One.
And here's why.
Give him a 1 Canepa. Give it to him.
And here's why. For the opening scene, when they're, you know what I mean, when they're talking about Alejandro, and by the way, 5, you're 1,000,000% correct. Alejandro was full of shit.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's a T-shirt.
My opinion.
Alejandro was full of shit.
And my thing was, well, if you got all this activity, you're in a fucking haunted house for one. All right, the thing is going crazy. Why not pan on the fucking board?
Exactly.
That's what I said.
They want to pan on faces. They want to pan on the mirror. They want to pan on the cameraman.
It was real funky camera angles too, right? See how like theatrical made it look like a movie? Like,
you know what I mean? But they don't want to fucking look at the board, right? Then all of a sudden, Alejandro's like, "Oh my God, this, that, and the other." Marty, this, that, fuck out of here. All right. So then,
exactly.
I was falling out. Then they go to New Orleans. I'm like, hey, all right. New Orleans is known for their, extraterrestrial activities, voodoo.
I love how you call extraterrestrial.
I don't know why they didn't go to Salem. I don't understand that.
No, they did. I think they did go.
No,
I think they did go to Salem. No,
they went to the Comic-Con thing, and then they went to Texas.
Oh.
And
they did mention that Kristen. They did mention that Kristen Day was from Salem. That's for that's the only mention of Salem.
That's why I think of that gathering.
They went to Baltimore is where they went.
And you know what? You know what's crazy to me? Also in the documentary, what she didn't tap into, because not for nothing, but here in the Northeast, we're known for like the most like stories of paranormal activity. All up and down New England is known for all that. Like if you want to come to a hub or some shit, this is where she should have been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, New England itself, definitely.
Mass, all up and down Connecticut. She should have been on here.
So when Bloody Mary came in and she was, and she was explaining everything like that really got me interested again, because how she was saying, there's levels, there's rules, there's things, because that's more my aspect of it.
And that's true. She was speaking truth. I really liked her very much.
She had some sense to her. Like she's not going in there blind.
Exactly. Right. Like to me, you know what I mean? In my personal discretion, I thought like this lady Summer was being reckless. From top to bottom.
Disrespectful.
You know what I mean?
Straight disrespectful.
Yeah, just, you know what I mean? Because maybe it was her naiveness or maybe it was deliberate, but she was just being disrespectful just for the cause, point blank, period. And I kind of felt maybe that's why she wasn't getting what she needed to get. You know what I mean? And the documentary in itself and what she was doing was just you know what I mean, was all fucked up to me. And then what made it, and then what closed the circle for me was at the end. You know what I'm saying? When they was taking the outtakes. You know what I mean? The actual footage of them. Take 1, take 2, take like remembering lines, and the guy's like, "Yo, what's the line again? I'm supposed to say." Like, all right,
that was so
basically,
listen,
at the end.
Did I cut it off? Did I cut it off? I saw the credits and cut it off. Yeah, I did.
At the end, because at the end they brought about the outtakes and all of that. And
one guy was an actor. There was one guy.
there was a guy that was acting,
and what was
like,
this,
so none of
the
this
guy
shit
that was
was
supposed to be a devil worshiper? What was he about?
He was He was the actor.
He was the actor.
actor.
That was the actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, but now all of this shit wasn't real. You know what I mean? And the only one that I could be like, all right, she's got this. You know, these people are more, were the guy and the warlock and Bloody Mary. Like they knew what was going down. They had their respect and they did it to me the right way.
Right.
But all in all, this documentary was just, I think, a personal thing for her personal belief to either A, make it or break it, whether she's gonna believe or not. You know
this is some shit. That's like a documentary she put together for a school project in college. You know what I mean?
Basically, right.
Oh,
real
she
quick.
was open-minded, but she went in very negative.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know, was it?
This is not gonna work. Yeah.
Was it any type of like complete bad sin where she burned the board at the end? What's that about? Is that okay, or is that what was that?
Oh, when she spit the that was like almost like the
no, not that. I'm talking about the
protection that she did.
No, I'm talking at the end. I'm not talking about Bloody Mary. I'm talking at the end that she threw the shit in the fire after they were doing their little back and forth line. She threw the shit right in the fire.
That was a disrespect. That was another disrespect. Yeah.
Because that shit
was. We might read it. We might read about her. We might read about her.
Yeah.
Pay attention to her.
Said is you have to give thanks or you have to give first, and that's why she gave the alcohol, because spirits do like spirits. Get it? Alcohol and a lot of
right.
And so you do, even when I do my works, I have to be thankful or I have to give something first. You have to give to receive. You just don't, I want. You have to give.
And that's what Maud was like. She was more on the I want.
And
I'm not getting what I want. I want results. Answer me. Where aren't you responding to me? Is somebody here? You know, I'm exaggerating, but that was the kind of what I heard in my head.
Questions, you know what I mean? Like the questions were, I think, out of line questions as well. You know what I mean? Like she's acting.
I know.
You know,
but I like how it was. You know, I giggled at the part when she frees it. What did she just say? Like she tried to be Spider-Man for a second and talking to herself. Let's rewind that. What did she just say?
Right.
Oh, the demon Zuzu. Who's the demon Zuzu? I'm like, oh, cut it out. That was so dramatic and corny when she did that, you know?
Yeah, I'm talking about this part here.
Yeah, this part. This is the part right here. That's the part I'm talking about at the end. This is the takes at the end. This is where they're supposed to be rehearsing lines.
Yep.
And all this and that.
The joint in the fire.
Karma. Because that was disrespectful because she didn't get what she wanted out of it.
Yeah, so she does it, and then the rest of the credits run while the thing fucking burns the whole time. That to me, I was like, never mind believing it or not. Like I felt that was like, whoa, that seems.
It was a fuck you statement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't have to really do all that. You could have just left it in the air. You were supposed to leave it in the air for the viewer to take what you put as hard evidence for them to run with you or not. You're not to be like, see, I burnt it. So therefore, you should just run with what I'm saying. It's fake.
Yeah, that felt weird to me at the end because I understand what Bloody Mary was doing with the 151. Like I get what she was doing, but then at the end,
I didn't know you talking about the fire. I didn't know.
Yeah, the lady at the end, she's just like, fuck it, we'll burn it. And I was like, ooh, that seemed.
Well, she was calling for demons and shit. She was just like, whatever.
She was
I'm
just
willing
out of
to
it,
risk
man.
every day.
In the most non-sexual way possible, she was asking for it. You know what I'm saying? Like she was asking to get fucking haunted.
Come on,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Into that fucking S&M thing with the spirits.
Like, do you really want Zozo or whoever you're talking about come out?
I think that's what she went in there with, to prove it wrong. Not an open-minded, just to prove it wrong.
I agree.
It's bullshit. I'm coming here and I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah.
So
and those people are the ones that get the fucked up spirits in the long run.
Yeah, they're the ones that have a demon on their back or some shit. That was just I don't know.
Yeah, so
but I got
really fun.
Yes, thank you for joining us,
boys, and talking.
Thanks for being here, Nanas.
Yes, great. Appreciate you,
Reverend. Now
I like talking.
Let's make sure,
Reverend. Elaine,
now she's called Rev.
I'm Rev.
Right.
It was
and also
between the reverendship and being a justice of the peace, marry in wherever you're, like in Connecticut. I could marry other states. I don't have to just spot New York. Yeah, New York is
shit.
Like, I can't do the boroughs. I can't do Queens, Manhattan, the Brooklyn. I could do Long Island.
Upstate. Okay, upstate.
But I can't
Yeah.
do borough.
I
Really?
wonder why. Why is
It's a
that?
I don't know.
municipality
It's
thing or
funny
something,
like
maybe?
that. Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
I
They got to
can't
keep,
do
somebody's got
anything.
to
Got a
be,
lot
they
of
got to keep
muons up
employed.
there. That's why.
It's because all the local justice of peace made it fucking went on strike.
Actually,
You gotta stop this.
Yeah.
They have the oldest witchcraft shop that exists is in New York.
Oh wow.
Really?
That's on my bucket list to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm
Well,
down
they
for that
say
going
New
through.
York, New York is also a big spot for a lot of that stuff too.
Oh, so many
Yes, I
people
love
been
it.
through
I
there. So
love
many
it.
different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so many different cultures been through there. So all kinds of roots of things been left there as they
Yep.
moved on. You know what I mean? Like we came
Yeah.
here, we brought our civilization, and then left our kids and took off. Let them do. So yeah, that's this Docs with Fat Cat. Who's it? Pete? I think it's on you this week.
Yeah,
Pete.
yeah.
Right?
Just
Yeah.
give me a sec, real quick. Let me so I could get it up.
All right, get
do have
it
one.
together.
It's a prime.
If it's another politician with fucking good hair and a bad posture, I'm gonna kick my teeth.
No. No, it's called the Bray Road Beast.
Bray Road.
If you can look that up
What
real
is
quick.
that supposed to be about?
5. Basically, it's based out of Wyoming and it's based of werewolves.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, we're
I'll
gonna
have to watch
end
that
off the
one when
month
you
right,
guys
Pete.
do
We're gonna end off the month right. Okay.
Yeah, it's all about werewolves and things like
I
that.
think I came across that when I was looking at something. I said when I was looking at docs to watch, and I said werewolves. I did think about that.
Was it on Prime?
Yeah, it's on Prime.
Okay. Oh.
If you could share the feed, 5.
You're gonna have to watch the whole doc and see. Maybe they're just showing parts from the movies.
I'm guessing it's like people telling stories and then they make their own,
They're doing their own like
what it sounds
right,
like
yeah.
they're talking
Just
about.
reenactments of what they're saying, right? Okay.
Of what they're trying to say. Yeah.
All right. I'm good with a good story.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good way to end off the month on some spooky, scary shit.
Some
You gotta get your
werewolf.
spook on.
We gotta get it right.
That's
So
cool.
Just Bake Channel JBC, as always, is a Docs with Fat Cat, and also appearing none other great today.
And thank you guys so much. It was fun. It was fun
Thank
hanging
you.
out with you boys.
Once
Thank
again
you.
for her, it's 203-508-4895,
I learned.
and that's Elaine, Reverend Elaine. You go on and get yourself in touch now.
You got to start going by REB now. You know what I'm saying? Reverend Elaine, the notorious REB.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
It's like Debbie, you be Rebby. You won't be Rebby.
No, but thank you so much for your information. Like you know,
I
you
learned
blew
a lot
it
of
open.
shit,
like,
definitely.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. You know, this is my kind of talk. I talk talk. I like this talk.
Well, the carpet was laid out, Mother. I appreciate you.
Okay, I love you, boys.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you,
gentlemen.
Thank you.
So we see you again, fellas.
Guys.
Yes.
Next week. Everybody stay
Bray
happy
Road.
and stay safe.
Just Bake.